Do you have any questions about it?
No.
All right.
So wait, I do have a question.
Okay.
So should I be talking just in my regular voice?
Yeah.
Or are there ways to like make your voice like sound better or more interesting for people that are listening? Because I feel like my voice is kind of like drony.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
No,
like,
just talk however you would normally talk. It
Okay.
sounds really normal.
All right, you don't have to try to do
No, you don't have
radio
to.
voice or go up and down. So it sounds
No,
better. Okay.
it'll record you pretty normally.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
So the reason I wanted to interview you about this is because I was really interested in how, like, people without a lot of information or background about the movie would feel about it. So I'm interested in what you think about the movie.
Oh, thanks for having me on the podcast. I really enjoyed the movie a lot. I was pleasantly surprised by the animation. I have been wondering what that was going to be like, and I thought it was really beautiful, especially like some of the backgrounds and some of the cool effects, especially during the fight scenes. I thought was really neat. I feel like even though the sort of format is unfamiliar to me, I feel like the story really stood on its own. I don't feel like I suffered not knowing who the characters were, what was going to happen.
Okay. There were some characters that they definitely, like, don't explain. Like, I know that there are some characters that are just there for people to enjoy because they know the show, right? Did you notice that? Or yeah?
Well, like, especially definitely towards the end when it was like all these other extra people were showing up for the fight that like weren't explained at all in the movie, and you could kind of tell that the guy with the green glasses, who, sorry, I don't know his name, was actually like probably some other hero from somewhere else, and the woman with the two white ponytails, like you could tell she's probably like a lot of people's like super favorite. And there are probably a couple others that I didn't notice, but yeah, at the end you could tell there were all these other characters that
was it still interesting to see them, or were you just like, I don't know you?
I was into the ones that they didn't show very much. I was just like overwhelmed, but like the two or three that they really, kind of focused a little bit on, you could tell it was kind of like a hook. Like, oh, I bet if I watch the next movie, maybe they'll explain who purple girl with white hair and the other guy with the green glasses is.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So, what did you think about the story?
Oh, the story was lots of things were interesting about the story. It was very sort of timeless, the story. If you sort of take away like the supernatural elements and all that, it's just a very like timeless tradition of someone, being bullied or being afraid and figuring out some way to transform their life and have things come out better for everyone. So that part was really familiar and cool. I suppose it could have come out bad, but I was pretty sure he was going to be okay by the end. I was actually a little bit sad that, what's this guy's name?
Oh, that's Ghetto.
Yeah, I was like actually a little surprised. I was hoping there'd be like a redemption story for him in the end, but
because he's like friends, kind of. Yeah.
So I was hoping there'd be like redemption and like he would live, and I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of liked him as a character, even though like
he was being very evil.
The stuff about the stuff about the monkeys and everything was awful, and of course, killing everyone and all that.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't like that.
But the fact that he was like so lonely when he was young, and what was really motivating him was wanting people to have some togetherness and understanding. Like, I understand that, but then of course that good colonel was just totally
yeah.
totally corrupted.
He saved those girls. Did you get that part?
Which girl? Oh, did he? I didn't notice that part.
No. Yeah, they were talking about, like, when they were little, they were, like, persecuted for having magic powers.
Oh,
and then he
right.
came and saved them.
He saved them from, like, the orphanage or wherever they were locked up or whatever. Yeah, see?
And that was, like, kind of why he, like, decided to turn evil or whatever. He was like, oh, they're treating, like, little kids bad. He didn't like that.
Well, he went the wrong direction with that. What can I say?
It's kind of sort of up in the air in the, like, story that's happening right now, like, if something will happen with him later.
But he's not back yet.
Not
They're
really,
just
no.
whispers about him?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I'll be interested to find out. You'll have to tell me when you find out anything.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite characters, too.
Oh, good.
So I do like him. I think he's interesting.
I liked his clothing.
Yeah, his outfit is good. His hair is really good.
Yeah, he looks great. But good hair is not enough.
Sometimes, yeah. All right. So a thing that people do in, like, these kind of interviews with, like, outsiders or whatever is they'll like go through the characters and see what you think of all of them.
Okay.
So
you might have to remind me of.
I know you probably won't know their names, so I'll, like, show you pictures.
Okay. And is this, like, radical honesty? Or
Yeah.
okay.
Just tell me what you think.
Okay.
So you know him.
Yeah.
This is Gojo.
Yeah, Gojo.
Mm-hmm. You knew he was gonna be in it because I have, like, a toy of him, and you saw that.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked the toy of him.
Yeah, it's cool. He looks different in the TV show and the movie.
I
liked his bandages
him.
are, like, white in the
that's
movie.
Right. They were.
I heard that, like, they changed some of the designs because it's, like, easier to animate the black than the white. Because, like, the white bandages or it's easier to, like, draw multiple times, just the black, because you just color it in, you know? And the white bandages are, like, crisscross over and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's
More
what
shading.
I heard. Yeah.
They did have blue shading, I think. I noticed that.
Yeah. So he's the teacher.
Yeah, he's fine. He's not that interesting a character to me, honestly. And just in this movie, I can't speak to anything
honestly.
else.
Like,
but I feel like they could have developed him a lot more. He just seemed like that teacher that everybody has had that just tried to be really cool and wasn't really that effective. Like, I feel like all the good stuff that happened was completely despite him.
No, that's true. No, because they kind of don't explain his powers for a long time. Like, he's just acting goofy. And then, like, in the last fight, he, like, shoots a big laser, and you're like, he can do that? Okay.
Heck? Why wasn't he just doing that all along?
Yeah. No, that's true, honestly. All right, we'll look at the next character, then. This is Okotsu Yuta. He was the main character.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's the hero, right? So, he's the everyman. He's us. So, I get it. I think they made him, like, I don't know. They made him, like, a little too scared in the beginning. Like, he just seemed, like, so, like, alone and terrified. And it made me so sad. Like, if he's that young, like, the only person he has any contact with is this, like, teacher that comes out of nowhere. Like, that was sad.
Yeah, his family isn't in it. You're right. Yeah, like, you never see, like, his parents or anything.
Yeah, it just made me sad to think that he just sort of came from nowhere. But maybe they just don't explain it. But I also... he
had, like, an orphanage, or, like, he was, like, in the hospital or something when he was a baby. I don't really know about that.
They didn't explain what happened, but his school uniform was, like, really awesome. Like,
yeah, I like his shirt, like, his cool shirt.
That's the coolest school uniform I've ever seen.
Yeah, the way they talk about it is, like, all the kids, like, there's, like, kind of, like, a base uniform, you know, like, the button-up and the pants, and they all get to, like, kind of...
make it their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he looked great in his uniform. And
did you feel like he had a good, like, character arc of growth? You were happy for him in the end?
I was happy for him in the end. I want to know more about his early childhood.
Mm-hmm. They only really show him with his little friend.
Yeah.
What did you think about her? Did you like her?
I did like her. At first I was like, I don't know. Well, we could probably... Let's talk about the way the curses looked later.
Oh, sure.
But,
you were laughing at them.
She was cute. She was cute.
Yeah.
I mean... At first, when they were talking about her cursing him, I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then later on, I'm glad they kind of corrected it later.
You were right. You figured it out.
She was just, you know, obviously a cute little girl in the sandbox.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to curse anyone. Come on.
No, that's true.
What was in that sand?
Yeah, and even he, like, was a little boy, too, but he didn't mean to curse her.
No,
he didn't really curse
not.
her. No, he was just, like, scared because some scary thing happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Were you, like, surprised by the violence of the film?
Well, you know, full disclosure, you warned me about it. I wasn't really surprised by it. Some of it, I did laugh a couple times when, like, the type of violence that would be, like, more like blunt force trauma, like, created all these, like, splashes of blood all over the place. But, you know,
yeah,
I guess they just wanted to show in cartoon form, like, how serious it was.
like, you can't animate, like, a concussion or
whatever. Yeah, the MRI wouldn't look that good in anime form.
Okay, so she looks like this in the TV show, but she looked a little different in the movie. This is Maki.
Maki? Yeah, I liked her. She's extremely likable. You know, I could have done without the, like, giant boobs. Like, I don't know what that was about. And, like, that weird reference in the middle of the movie about, like, breast size from, like, little kids talking about it almost.
Yeah, like, they're like 15 or 16, I think.
Like, ew. Like, I could have done without that. I think they should take that out, but I'm not going to pick it or anything. I just don't. I just thought it was unnecessary.
No, you're right. A lot of people would agree with you. And I think that, like I said, like, this story was, like, the author's first thing. And I think it's kind of, like, encouraged for authors to, like, put some sort of sex appeal in their stories.
Yeah,
and he
probably.
really doesn't have any of that in the, like, more current stuff. So he was probably just, like, getting his foot in the door with that or something.
Probably. Maybe somebody else would, hey, you gotta put a little bit of, you gotta sex it up a little, or we'll sign you, kid.
Yeah. A lot of people will make jokes like that.
I don't know what that would sound like in Japanese.
But... Yeah, something like that. No, but she is a fun character, for sure.
Yeah, she's fun.
A lot of people like her.
I don't know. We saw the dubbed version, so I didn't get to hear what her voice sounded like in Japanese. I'd be interested to hear what all the voices sounded like in their Japanese versions, because I have a feeling they might have kind of overdone the voice characters a little bit in the dubbed version, but I don't know that for sure.
That usually is the case in dubs. I think that I usually don't like dubs, but I thought that this one was pretty good, or it was at least well acted. I didn't agree with, like, 100% of the choices, but it was definitely at least, like, well done for a dub.
Yeah, it's cool that you saw both. That's helpful.
Yeah, I wanted to, like, see what I thought the difference was, and I thought that they were both pretty good. Okay, here he is. So this is Inumaki. Do you remember him?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Bonito Flakes.
Yeah, his voice is probably the one that is harmed the most by the dub, I think, because, like, he's saying it in Japanese, and it kind of, like, makes more sense in a way, and also, like, he has, like, a much, like, smaller voice kind of in Japanese, so it makes him seem like
just
more
like a mumble.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that part was kind of a little bit silly. Like, why can't whatever goes in a rice ball be cursed?
Yeah,
I don't understand like why that's sacred or whatever. But you know, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, he kind of had a character too, even though he can't, like, talk well at all. Yeah.
I'd like to know more about him too, for sure.
Yeah, he looks different in the TV show. I'll show you his other design. His hair is different like this now. He's, like, smaller, kind of. His hair is, like, up in the. Yeah. They made him different for
maybe
the TV
it was
show.
Raining.
Yeah, maybe.
His hair just flattened. That's all.
No, I like him a lot too. I think he's a nice character. He didn't really do that much. I guess they had, like, a little adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seemed interesting, and, like, you wanted to know more about him.
He definitely has, like, an interesting, like, backstory of, like, what's his clan are all, like, have this, like, power that makes it so they can't talk and that kind of thing.
This was another weird thing about this movie, if I can digress.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I noticed there was this real emphasis on, like, family and your family clan, and how your clan is your destiny, and how, like, tightly people seem to be forced to belong to their clan, even if they don't really identify with them. Like, the girl just
Maki had a lot of that.
Yeah, she had a lot of that, and she wanted to go back and kill them because it was so important to her that she stayed attached, even though it was in a negative way. The attachment was
there's
just
a lot
as strong.
more of that story in the, like, going on about, like, how they're, like, a very, like, misogynistic patriarchal clan kind of thing, and they were like, you don't have a power and you're a woman, so you're, like, gonna be our little slave forever. So she, like, was really, you know, she's very boisterous or whatever, so she was like, you know, fuck that, I'm leaving. Yeah, I want to know more about her as a character. That was interesting. Yeah, there's a lot more about her going on in the story.
But yeah, like the sort of, like, your ancestry is your destiny, and, you know, your blessing and your curse was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't think that was
That's
going to be part of
definitely
it.
one of the main themes in the story, I think. Even just in this and going on to the rest of it.
Interesting.
All right, what did you think about the panda?
The panda, of course, is adorable, but like they need to explain it. Like they just zoomed right by it. I couldn't even tell if they were saying blah 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 blah, corpse, whatever, ghost, blah blah blah. We just move on. It's a panda.
Yeah.
I think it was better if they just said nothing.
No, yeah. They do explain eventually, like, what he is, but it is kind of the joke that no one explains it for a while. They're just like, oh, there's a talking panda, and he's magic, or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like they should have said nothing. It would have been better.
Yeah, it was pretty good, yeah.
But yeah.
He's kind of rude. Like, he was the one who was talking about Maki's boobs or whatever.
Yeah. So was that scene just about him, like, realizing that he thought she had a crush on him? Yeah, he thought she had a crush on him, okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't too sure. Oh, and then just blurt it out in front of both your friends. God.
No, he's rude.
Dude, agree.
Yeah. Let's see. The green glasses guy.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Nanami.
Okay.
They
didn't. There wasn't really enough about him for me to tell. I could just tell that he was, he was getting a good edit, and it looked like he was, you know, on the good guy side and had some cool stuff to say and do, and that's really kind of all I could tell about him.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much all they gave him, and he isn't in the original like written story for this story, even though like based on the timeline he would have been doing, but he was doing. He was just kind of very popular in the show, so I think they added him back in. Yeah, they did that with a lot of characters. Like the white braid lady you talked about, Mei Mei is her name. She like has a big axe or whatever, and her power is like she can control the crows.
Looked way too heavy for her to even lift.
Yeah, I'm sure, maybe it's magic or whatever.
Oh, so this is another thing that I wanted to ask about or bring up in this talk was it was a surprise to me that these curses like take on such a physical form, and that despite the fact that there's this high school for people with extra powers of whatever sort, they still have to have these weapons and like train just like super old school with a sword or a giant axe that you can't even lift. And
my understanding of that is like they all have like their random power. And they don't, like, pick it. So some of them aren't, like, very good for combat, basically. So they just have to learn how to also use a weapon. Like the axe lady, her power is, like, she can control birds. So she would, like, look through the eyes of crows and, like, see what's going on. But that's not, like, useful for fighting. So she just also learns how to use, like, a powerful axe.
So it's but some of it was kind of like spells. Like, putting, like, the veils were spells.
Yeah. And Gojo can, like, fire a laser or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, like you said, it's just like random based on like your family or whatever, and they just have to deal with what they have.
It's interesting. I was just surprised by the curses. Like some of them just looked looked so dumb to me, honestly. Yeah. But it was like
well, there's the big pelican. Did you like him?
Yeah, the pelican was kind of cute. Why not?
Yeah.
It was just kind of weird that some of them there seemed to be a lot of like, more or fewer eyes than you're supposed to have, scariness and like weird tongues and weird teeth and like kind of slightly human but mostly dehumanized shapes. And it just, I don't understand why those are curses. Like they seem more like nightmares to me or ghosts or
I think it's like kind of like a translation of the idea of like a creature made of negative energy. Yeah. Is like kind of a curse or kind of a ghost in whatever way you think of it.
Yeah, it was funny how they kind of explained that, like just to get you up to speed. It was like the bottom of those drug commercials where they're like, Michael. But I appreciated the explanation, and I appreciated that they did it quickly enough that the people who already knew weren't like ready to shoot themselves by the time they were explaining it.
Yeah. Let me see. Also, if we're going to talk about the curses, we can talk about the biggest curse, Rika. Yeah. Did you like her big form as compared to her little girl form? I can find a picture of her for you, too.
I don't know. I thought she looked a lot like that thing from Alien.
That's true, yeah.
But I also don't go to a lot of movies, and especially not, like, movies with scary things. So, yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not really sure what they were going for. I'm just looking at a picture of the two of them next to each other.
Yeah, they don't look similar, for sure.
Well, I mean, it's a humanoid form,
Yeah.
and it's kind of has long something out the back, like maybe her hair, and it's got like all the teeth to bite you and
Yeah,
all the
true.
long arms to hug you with. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why they decided that for her. I don't know. Maybe it's just fun to draw, or
Yeah,
it looks
maybe,
really
yeah.
cool, or a lot
I
of
think
people
she looks
are.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
She
a
definitely.
lot
I can see the reference to the alien monster for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The alien from Alien.
But it's like at least that one's trying to look scary. The other one's just gonna look
Yeah.
like if you asked a little kid to draw a monster.
Yeah.
Which would be cute if someone did an anime all with like monsters that were drawn by little kids.
Yeah, that is cute. Oh, they would be so silly. Yeah. Oh, let's see. I don't think I have any more of the main characters really. There's like the principal, but he doesn't really do that much.
Yeah.
There's like all of like Ghetto's evil friends. Oh, the one that Gojo fought, Miguel, and he was like in the end credit sequence that we couldn't figure out, right?
Oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Him.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't really develop him much at all. I feel like they could have, because it seems like they let on that he had some kind of backstory that might be interesting, and not just completely boringly evil.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to know more about him for sure.
I think they haven't really gotten into him much in the story right now, but like, in that end credit sequence, like, oh, he's not so evil anymore because he's hanging out with the main character now. Yeah.
Hey, anyone can change their life.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, anyone can have a redemption arc, maybe.
That's right. Everyone can't have one.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Everyone has to have one. Otherwise, we're all in trouble.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think I have any more questions. Do you have any questions you wanted to ask?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. Yeah.
I was surprised you liked the movie so much. I was happily surprised because you don't really like to go to the movies that much.
I don't go to the movies that much, and I don't like things that are violent. But I was sort of more looking at it as like an artistic, from an artistic point of view, rather than, whether I thought it was like the best story ever or whatever. So that made it more interesting. Yeah.
And you do like some like fantasy stuff, like you like Lord of the Rings or whatever.
I do. I like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that.
And it kind of has like one of those classic fantasy stories.
One of those one of those flawed hero stories.
Yeah. Those are very popular for anime for sure. Like your stories about like boys who have a grand quest or whatever. Yeah. All right. Well, do you feel like you, as a person who doesn't understand or didn't understand, do you feel like you understood? Do you feel like it was something that someone else who hasn't like seen everything would enjoy as just a movie by itself?
I think so, for sure. I definitely think the movie stands on its own enough that the person wouldn't be completely lost. I feel like it's been helpful to me to hear the backstory again now that we saw it afterwards, because that makes me kind of like it even more. It was really fun to look at. I liked the artwork a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that was great.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you about it.
Interviewing me. Bye.
Bye.
On Snaptooth Island, they did find a tasty quest to fill the hole that many feel inside their soul. Venture deep to reach the truth and maybe